Welcome back, class. This video will serve as a demonstration for Lesson 1 to begin our fourth and final unit, Abstract Sculpture. So your Lesson 1 goals are to first plan an abstract work of art that is inspired by environment, culture, experiences, etc. Really just an abstract artwork that's inspired by something that you believe, something that you've seen and experienced. You want there to be a meaning behind your sculpture and not just have to be just some random shape just because having the idea will guide your production to make sure you're creating a product around the idea and not the other way around. And then also you want to make sure you're planning that work. Once you have the plan, you want to plan for the sculpture to be structurally and visually balanced to make sure that it's not falling over, it's sturdy and solid to stand on its own, and that the design that you created is balanced throughout the entire sculpture itself. All right, so let's take a look at what that's going to look like. I'm going to go to the next slide here. All right, so to demonstrate this, you are essentially, I'm basically going to show you what your generic sketch should look like and what your written description should look like. So for this assignment, you are just going to first think of the idea, think about whether you want it to represent, whatever idea or experience you've had, and write about it. So for example, I took a famous artist named Henry Moore, who you're going to learn a little bit about later in the next unit or the next lesson. He wrote that this work is based upon the relationship of the human body, or upon the human relationship that the body shares with the larger world. It expresses ideas that humanity is part of nature and that through our senses we can become connected to something timeless and universal. Now that, I doubt, would be word for word what you were thinking when you first saw this sculpture or this sketch of this sculpture, but that was the description that Henry Moore had before creating this sculpture and modeling it to show that idea. Now with that description, you may now look at the sculpture differently and understand why he did what he did and what it might represent. But first you're going to write a description as to what your idea is that your sculpture is going to be about. You will send me that, and you will also send me the sketch of what you plan for your sculpture to look like before you even start using and modeling the clay to create the final sculpture. So all you need to do for Lesson 1 is think of your idea, write your description of your idea, and then start sketching out what your sculpture is going to look like. Now for your photo of your sculpture or the creation of your sketch, please make sure you're drawing and filling in the whole entire paper so it's easy for me to see. And if you need to, add shadows and curves where they would be necessary to represent or to give insight as to what the sculpture is going to look like, to really show that form, that three-dimensionality of what it's going to be. All right, so just send me the written description and a photo of your work under the student lesson or the photo progress of the lesson, and I look forward to reading your descriptions and seeing what you're planning for your sculpture. And after that, I will see you next lesson. We'll go over some vocab and start discussing the production of the actual sculpture using your clay. All right, guys, let me know if you have any questions, and otherwise I will see you in class for Lesson 2. All right, bye everyone.